Hey, before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, all right? That way you don't miss any of the biggest financial twists happening right now. Trust me, you want to follow this one until the very end. Now, let's set the stage. Imagine a country with over 270 million people, the biggest economy in Southeast Asia, and a political climate that's already been boiling for months. Tensions are high, protests are spreading like wildfire, and people are angrier than ever. But here's the thing, this isn't just about politics. This isn't just about the usual disagreements between citizens and their government. No, this time it's personal. And when it turned personal, things escalated way beyond what anyone expected. So what exactly happened? Let's rewind. It all started with a tragedy. A motorcycle taxi driver, someone just trying to make a living, lost his life during a rally. Reports say he was run over by police in the middle of a demonstration against lawmakers' financial perks. In that moment, it set off a spark. From that single event, the streets of multiple cities lit up with anger. Jakarta, Yogyakarta, Bandung, Surabaya. Everywhere you looked, people were marching, shouting, demanding change. And with every day that passed, the movement grew louder, bigger, and far more dangerous. Now, here's where things take a shocking turn. This wasn't just about crowds clashing with police anymore. Suddenly, the fury of the people shifted. Their eyes weren't only on officers in uniform. It was on the lawmakers themselves. The very people behind the perks, behind the decisions, behind the policies that had pushed the public over the edge. And then, boom, that's when the unbelievable happened. Picture this. In the middle of the night, waves of people, some riding motorcycles in packs, others just joining the chaos, surged toward a certain house. Not just any house, though. This was the home of one of the most powerful figures in the country, Sri Mulyani Indrawati, a name that carries serious weight. A woman who once sat as managing director at the World Bank. Someone who has served as finance minister under 3 different presidents. Basically, one of the most influential financial leaders not just in Indonesia, but globally. And yet, her home wasn't untouchable. In the early hours of the morning, her residence in South Tangerang was hit. First wave, dozens of motorcycles with 2 or 3 people on each. Second wave, an even bigger group, over 150 people. They broke in, tore the place apart, and carried out whatever they could find. We're talking TVs, sound systems, decorations, clothes, even bowls and plates. Nothing was spared. Was she inside during all of this? Luckily, no. Reports say she wasn't home. But imagine the message this sends. If protesters can storm the home of the finance minister herself, who's safe? And it didn't stop there. Other lawmakers also saw their homes attacked, cars smashed, properties destroyed, everything turned upside down. This wasn't an isolated event. It was a wave of rage, spreading house by house, city by city. By the time the sun came up, soldiers were stationed at her home, trucks were hauling away what was left, and the entire country was left in shock. Think about that for a second. We're talking about a nation less than a year into a new president's term. A former general, now facing the biggest, most violent protests of his presidency. And his people aren't just angry. They're taking action in ways that threaten to spiral even further. So what happens next? That's the big question. Will these protests keep growing, pushing the government to crack down harder? Or is this the kind of moment that forces real change at the very top? One thing's clear. Indonesia is standing at a crossroads right now. And the decisions made in the next few weeks could decide whether things calm down or explode into something much bigger. And you can bet we'll be following every twist. So, once again, if you haven't already, hit subscribe because this story, it's only just getting started.